Hey guys, it's Lindsay here at Oasis. Today we have Renee with us. She's our IOP director and she's going to be talking a little bit about EMDR with us.
So hello everyone, it's nice to be joining you today with virtual reality. I'm going to be telling you about EMDR, which is eye and movement desensitization reprocessing. And that sounds like a big jumbled set of words, so I kind of want to break it down just in a couple minutes, hopefully, to be more understandable. So EMDR has been around. It was created by someone named Shapiro, who is awesome, and it has been primarily used for individuals with trauma. And when I say trauma, I don't mean it in the sense of just individuals who have experienced near-death experiences or soldiers who have been away at war and come back and are triggered with fireworks, although it is absolutely excellent for those individuals. When I say trauma and how EMDR views trauma is if someone experiences an event and at the time their brain or emotions don't know how to process that, it was too intense or they were too young, whatever the case may be. We believe in EMDR that our brain does not process those memories properly, and it causes us, and if you remember anything out of this video, I want you to remember this. So if an individual has a situation that happens and they either overreact or underreact, they are a good candidate for EMDR. And when I say overreact, I mean someone gets a lot of affect, meaning they get really angry, resentful, really anxious, really sad, maybe feeling a lot of terror, and the person is kind of confused that their reaction maybe doesn't match the actual event that happened. Or if someone has an underreaction, meaning that their go-to is shutting down. So let's say someone's having a conversation with a romantic partner and a topic gets brought up about the person maybe thinking about moving, and the person reacts really, really resentfully, and maybe that person has unprocessed memories around abandonment. Maybe their mom wasn't around or their dad wasn't around when they were younger. So, and that's just one example. There can be a broad plethora of unprocessed memories. So if you saw my last video, you know that I will definitely tell you a little bit of the research studies behind EMDR. The first published research article backing that EMDR was good to treat PTSD was published in 1989. So it's been around for a really long time. And ever since then, there's been a lot of research studies that have been done. One of them was seeing if Prozac, which is a medication used to treat depression, and EMDR with randomized controlled trial, meaning different individuals presenting with similar symptoms, which would be more effective. And the study concluded that EMDR was more effective than Prozac. And not only that, but when EMDR stopped, they showed that the individual's symptoms continued to improve after treatment, whereas the individuals who were on Prozac, when they stopped their treatment, meaning they stopped the medication, not only did their symptoms not continue to improve, but they actually got worse because the Prozac was doing its job, but then when they stopped using the medication, there was still all this underlying emotional, physical trauma that has been stored. And so something that I personally really, really love about EMDR is that it focuses not just on the thinking. It's a third wave therapy, meaning it's not one of the very old therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, which is awesome too, but EMDR focuses on everything. So when we have an unprocessed memory because it was too difficult, we store not only that traumatic memory, we call it in the trauma bubble. So what gets stuck in the trauma bubble is everything, not just our ways of thinking or our negative beliefs about ourselves, but also where did we feel that trauma in our body? When we think back to that event, do we feel it in our chest? Do we feel it in our belly? And we also focus on the sensations in the body. So I've done an EMDR with someone where through a few bilateral stimulation sets, which means I do this in front of the person and they look back and forth. There's also the tappers, which can be effective. It's just like this. You turn it on and the person holds these tappers with each hand. And you do that for a few minutes when reprocessing a memory. And I've had someone just have a few sets where a lot of emotions come up. And it means that maybe a lot of that trauma has been stored in our body, which sometimes turns up as illnesses, physical sickness, extreme anxiety, tiredness, whatever the case may be. So EMDR is amazing. There have been a ton of research studies on it, and it's not only just effective for PTSD, it's also effective for panic disorder, attachment disorder, depressive disorder, because the way EMDR views disorders is that it's really just a lot of unprocessed memories that manifest in different ways. So we don't view people as disorders or as the problems, we just view the issues arising as a manifestation of having a lot of really tough things happen that we just need to process through. We believe that the mind and body are really resilient and that they're keyed towards health. The thing that EMDR helps do through things like this bilateral stimulation is reprocess the memory in a healthy way. So, for example, let's say the veteran who heard a lot of gunshots, maybe even saw some of their really close friends die. Of course, whenever they hear a loud noise, that person probably gets sent in fight or flight mode, meaning they feel really alert, their chest might constrict, they might have rapid thoughts, they might disassociate. So if a veteran has worked with an EMDR therapist and gotten that memory down to a 0, meaning that there are no thoughts, negative thoughts anymore, there are no negative emotions coming up anymore, what that means is that memory was reprocessed, and so that person can go see fireworks and not be triggered anymore. Mm-hmm. And it's really, really, really pretty incredible. It doesn't mean that just that one memory is going to fix everything that happened. That person will still have those traumatic memories, right, but it just won't have the hold on them that it once did. And it's a lot of the work that I do is with sexual abuse and sexual assault survivors, and it's really, really effective for that too. Unfortunately, many women in recovery have experienced some form of sexual abuse and sexual assault. I think it's an issue that we skirt as a country, and we definitely shouldn't, because it leads to a whole lot of other issues, and a lot of what we're manifesting with mental illness and addiction is some of those underlying traumas. So with anyone who has experienced a trauma, and not in the sense of, because a lot of people think, oh, I didn't experience a trauma because, I didn't have a gun to my head, or, I wasn't in a life-threatening car wreck, or whatever the case may be. They feel like they haven't had trauma, but it's relative to how we processed the memory. So I just encourage anyone, if they feel that they have a part of their life that they're either overreacting to or underreacting to, EMDR is a really, really awesome and effective way. Something that I really like about EMDR is that the person doesn't have to get into strict detail of every part of what happened in their trauma and talk about that for session after session. A lot of it is just reprocessing and allowing your body and your mind to gear towards what it already is geared towards, which is health.
Yeah.
EMDR just kind of helps go that way. So I think that is a good introduction. Yeah. I don't want to bore you with too many details, but it's super, super evidence-based to treat a plethora of diagnoses, including addiction and PTSD, which are huge disorders that we treat here.
All right. Well, thank you, Renee, for your time today, and thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.